Hello footies, welcome along to your latest dose of Football Ultimate Team podcasting goodness. We are FUT in Review, powered by FUTcoaching.com. We are recording this on Tuesday, the 26th of November, 2024. My name is Dan Wimbush, otherwise known as Wimby. I am joined by the main man, the scout, Nathan Downs. No Shaq this week, we're recording this too late. He's safely tucked up in bed over in Australia, so you'll just have to make do with the two of us. But what a show we have in store for you, because we have what might be the most important promo of FC25 to talk about, and it is going to be a big one, ladies and gentlemen. The Black Friday promo and everything that entails is literally a matter of hours away. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be sort of looking at what might be coming, what has happened in past years, how it will change this game, and much, much more. Of course, we'll be rounding up a little bit of the content done the past few days as well, and much, much more. But Nathan, my friend, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Dan. I've not got my giant hoodie on today. We've gone from the Arctic blasts of Storm Bertie on Saturday, where managed to have football cancelled, took the wee one out and made the first ever snowman. I think I sent you a couple of the pictures and videos, which, you know, with my bias glasses on, were ridiculously cute. You know, me dancing around in the snow. But no, it's good. It's good. It's been an interesting FIFA week. We've had some ups, had some downs. Yeah, I'm quite excited to talk, and I think we're going to break our sort of unwritten rule where we pretty much never talk about leaks. But I think this is kind of what people want to hear is what's coming up. So I'm quite excited. But big shout out to Shaq, who has completely let us down again. I mean, imagine not staying up past midnight his time just to record the pod with the guys. So, you know, he's definitely on Santa's naughty list for this.
I know, what a liability. I mean, you talk about the weather. Those of you watching the video show will see this giant pool of light off to my left-hand side as I sit here. So, yeah, I can't do much about that, unfortunately. But if you subscribe to our Patreon, which, of course, being Black Friday, we're spreading the joy. If you use the code, Nathan, what is the code?
BFFIR24.
Yep, over at patreon.com/FUTinview, you'll get 20% off your first month or first year subscribing. And of course, you get all the benefits, including access to our meetups. You get the Art of Foot show, which had 2 brand new custom tactics for us this week, and much, much more, loads of goodies. And of course, our eternal thank you. You know, if enough people subscribe, you know, I can build myself a designated podcast studio. So, you know, we just need a couple of thousand more subscribers and we'll be there. So, look, you know, at least we give back on Black Friday. We're not EA, whose idea of discount is we'll just give you more packs to buy. Well, yeah, anyway, that is our shilling out of the way. So thank you again to all of other patrons and to other Daniel as well, who's our Skybox holder as well in particular. Thank you very much indeed. Of course, you can always join the Discord. That is absolutely free, because we realize a lot of people have got lots of commitments. It's Christmas, it's the holidays, all sorts to get to. But Nathan, for this entire discussion on Black Friday, I thought I would turn to our mailbag, because I think this neatly sums up everything we're going to talk about here. Ingvi says, it looks like EA is going big with the coming Thunderstruck promo and Black Friday. Do you guys think that the content can save the game in the current state, or is the gameplay still too bad to make it enjoyable? Overall, Nath, do you think that there's more pressure on this promo than anyone you can remember in kind of recent memory?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Black Friday is always a biggie. Thunderstruck, I think was it last year that Thunderstruck maybe tied in with Black Friday? But, you know, last year was such a huge success. I think everyone kind of unanimously decided it was a success. So that is good. I mean, this is one that people mark up on their sort of FC/FIFA calendars. This, you know, combined with Team of the Year, the 2 sort of major biggies before you get into silly season and tots. So I think there's a lot of pressure, and like Ingby said, you know, there's definitely been gripes, and we've gone over it on this pod on our Tuesday Club. There's been lots of issues with the game, so let's hope that, you know, this is the start of an upward trajectory. I think from the sounds of it, it could well be a plus point of the game, but obviously it depends how it's executed.
Now, look, let's sort of sum up everything, because there will be people listening to this that maybe haven't been through a Black Friday before, or maybe they're returning to the game, they haven't been here for the last few years. In short, Black Friday is where EA go bonkers on the menu side of this game. As mentioned, the Thunderstruck promo will be returning. Again, Thunderstruck cards are live upgradable cards. There are some big... We're not going to go specifically into the names that have been leaked, but, you know, we'll leave that. We'll leave some mystique for what gets dropped. But there are some big name players to come in that, and they're live cards, so they're great to follow along with. On top of that, EA also releases a best of team of the week back into packs. And as of last year, they released a best of campaigns back into packs as well. So, your Thunderstrucks, your Total Rush players, there'll be a selection of them back in. Will that change? So far, we've seen leaks for the best of team of the week. We've not seen any leaks for a best of campaign pack. So maybe they don't go back into packs, but maybe they do. And in short, as I joked about, EA will load the store. Nath has got a calculation that he can't wait to break out later in the show. But if you think there are loads of store packs at the moment, hold on to your hats and more importantly, your credit cards, because they will be throwing out everything. I think the most we've had this year is a 360,000 coin pack. I would fully expect a 400k, maybe a 4k pack. But on top of that, there are lots of SBCs. We have some great players usually released. There is a top tier icon on this day that's already been leaked that we'll talk about. Last year, of course, we had a Frankie de Jong Thunderstruck card that was in people's teams for a long, long time. I think there was an Alan St. Maximin as well. So expect lots of flash SBCs and challenges as well. Like every hour they were releasing, a challenge SBC. Give you loads of different packs, from 50k packs to gold packs to everything. So it lasts usually over the whole weekend from kind of like Thursday evening-ish through to Monday. And on top of all of that, we have the brand new season launching as well, which promises a return for the swaps mechanic, Nathan. So all change. If you thought, things have been a bit slow over the past, few weeks on FC25, they are turning the crank up to 200.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all agree that the content's been somewhat lacking. It's not been the best sort of content period. So I said before that I think the last week or two of seasons are a bit boring for me, especially if you hit the top of that ladder. So I'm excited to have a fresh things to grind. The swaps concept is very intriguing. I think that the leaks at the moment are that it'll be swaps for champs, rivals, and squad battles. Excuse me. So it'll be quite interesting to see how they execute that. I didn't mind, the current one with Richarlison and João Felix, because I don't really do champs, but I also don't feel like we're missing out an awful lot with them because they're decent cards, but they're not going to stay in your team for, the next 6 months unless they've got lots of evos. So if they do it that way, where actually the players are decent, so if you can get them, great. If you miss them, you don't beat yourself up. I think that's a great way of doing things. I quite like the concept, and having more content to grind either through menus or gameplay, I think is really exciting. This Thunderstruck promo as a whole, I think, could be really good, and the next week as of Thursday, Friday could be very busy for the grinders.
Yeah, to elaborate a little bit more on the swaps and what we know so far, again, we're recording this around lunchtime on the Tuesday, so I'm sure much more will come out. I mean, we'll know a lot more on Thursday when the new season starts, but it looks like you're going to earn what are called mastery players for your performance, as Nathan mentioned, in champs, in rivals, and in squad battles as well. Now, again, lots of unknowns at the moment. We don't know if the players you're going to obtain are going to be usable in themselves, so are they going to be, 86, 88 rated decent promo cards that you can either keep and then swap in, or in previous years, if you haven't been around for icon swaps, they were basically, a 62 rated bronze card that you would never use, and you would just gather a certain amount of them and you would then trade those in for a player or for a pack. And again, we don't really know what you're going to be trading them in for. Will it be for promo players? Will it be for gamble packs? Will it be for fodder packs? Lots of unknowns. Lots of people, though, Nathan, had kind of wished for swaps to come back. The downside that I've seen so far, based on what we know, is that a lot of people are complaining about it's just another sort of reason for people to sweat. It's not, we've already seen EA locking things behind quality control in terms of, it's very hard to get into FUT Champs, for example. Now they're going to be locking certain rewards and players behind barriers. So in the new FUT Champs rewards, for example, I think rank 1 gets you 3 of these mastery players, where I think if you go down to six odd wins, I think you get 1. So again, some people are concerned, being like, great, it's another thing that I can't get a hold of. Whereas in years past, swaps were open to all. Yes, it took people longer, but it was always accessible to everybody. Everybody could get those World Cup swaps and the icon swaps, couldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's two trail of thoughts for this, isn't there? the better players, maybe some people they'll think they deserve better because they're better players, so they should get the top end ones. But obviously, there's that bit where it's like the rich get richer, if you like. So the better players get access to better cards, which then creates a bigger divide. And I've been yo-yoing between Div 2, Div 3 at the moment, and as soon as you get into Div 2, the squads in there are just stupidly stacked, and it's a bit of a fear that would kind of happen again. But it's kind of hard. You need to reserve judgment to see how it's done, because we all know that, the way it was done before, if it was swaps, like the traditional swaps that we've had, not the season reward ones, is that there was combinations. And I don't think I ever really used all my swaps. So there was always 4, 5, 6 tokens at the end of it, where we're just sitting in my club, which were just generic, bronze or gold or silver players by the end of it. So, it's very very easy to say this is wrong, that is wrong, but first things first, you're not going to please everybody. Some people want it open to everyone. Some people want it sort of a little bit more tailored to your grind and your levels. So I'm reserving judgment till we see. It could be that you could have, I don't know, 85 times 10 packs, or decent players. It all depends on how they actually bring it out. So I think it's a good premise. I'm not going to get myself really disheartened if I miss those 3 tokens in Champions, because I think that actually there'll probably be ways to get them all, or get most of them in other sort of forums. So I don't think it'll be the be all and end all if you're not in Champs.
Yeah, and it's very much a case of the devil is going to be in the details in this. And until we actually see the system and what the rewards are and things like that, I don't want to delve too much into that. I think that's something we can get into on our next Tuesday club show. And of course, the guys on Friday doing the main show as well, they'll be able to sort of elaborate a little bit more. But it's interesting they're coming back. What we do know, Nath, talking about rewards, is that they have boosted the rewards up for FUT Champions. Again, we've not seen what they're going to do to rivals, but we imagine, and squad battles as well, but we imagine they're going to be changed as well. I mean, as somebody that gets generally I can't even think what the ranks are. I got sort of 8, it's between 7 and 9 wins. I don't think it's a massive change for lower down, but I mean, you can't really argue against them boosting. I mean, the new rank 1 rewards, for example, an 86 by 10, 3 85 plus player picks, an 85 10, an 87 plus base icon, an 89 2, an 84 by 25, 3 team of the week triple packs, and those 3 Champions Mode masteries and 2K. You can't say that the EA aren't rewarding the very best players.
No, absolutely. And I think that was kind of the sign that they were going to do right from the off. So I don't have a massive kind of issue with that, because people that are getting those levels aren't going to be in, even Div 2, maybe not even Div 1. These are elite level players. So that's fine for me. It would be nice to share the love. But again, I don't really play Champs at all. So again, it doesn't bother me. It's if they kind of juice it too much at the lower down, with no disrespect, that's when it'll start being a bit frustrating for people that just can't do Champs, where it's actually they're getting it just for participating. Whereas I think we've always said that they try and make Champs the elite place to be. Although it sounds really harsh, and I know I'm going to get a lot of people saying, no, you're wrong. I think that, you should reward those that are already higher up, and then it's not going to affect me, because it's not like FIFA of yesteryear where people sandbag leagues to make it easier for them. The best rewards in rivals are in the higher divisions. People seem to be wanting to get out of the division. So I think it's, fair play. If you're at that level, you deserve to get good rewards.
A person going 15-0 is going to spank me whether they've got an all gold team or whether they've got a god squad. So like you say, it makes little difference to me. I think I would be more concerned if the rewards were a big jump from, say, 7 to 9 wins. Then you'd be kind of like, you'd get, the bad luck of the draw or a disconnect or something, and then you'd be feeling really hard done by. But with the way these are tiered, again, it's kind of much of a muchness between sort of 6 and 10 wins. And then above then you really start to pull away. And again, I think there is that clear quality gap this year between someone getting 11 plus wins on a regular basis and kind of the rest. It was interesting. I was listening to what Nepenthes was saying about FUT Champs rewards, and again, made me feel a little bit better about myself. But he was talking about his experiences and his community and stuff. And he was actually saying, look, if you're getting 7 wins this year in FUT Champs, you're doing pretty well. It can be easy to go, okay, well, I've lost more games than I've won. But with how hard it is to get in, and you only need to look in both our own Discord and in Reddit and on social media in general to actually understand that it is really hard for a lot of people just to even get into Weekend League this year, which is why, in turn, Weekend League feels so unbelievably competitive and why wins are down, because you're just not getting that padding that you used to. I failed to get into Weekend League again this week. I failed my qualifiers. I was 2-3. Played the next day and went 5-0. It feels so much more of a lottery this year, Nath. And again, just a kind of a bit of a pat on the back and a pick me up for both people that are making champs and maybe not getting the wins that they want to, and just those people that are struggling to qualify. Again, nobody is alone in this battle here. You've not suddenly got worse overnight.
Yeah, I mean, just to put it out there, Dan, I have a 100% qualifying record in champs qualifiers. I've done it once, and I've qualified that one time. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to try and do champs, because I want to stay with my 100% record. So, there we go.
I mean, the gold star is on its way over to you, Nathan. It's absolutely on its way over to you. So look, that covers swaps. Let's talk about some of the things that are coming. Again, we're going to have to give away a few spoilers here because I think it's important for people who are building clubs. And of course, we've had another massive market crash that we kind of teased and talked about over the last couple of weeks. We did sort of say that this was coming, and it's in full effect now because, again, we know that best ofs are going to be certainly best of team of the week and be back in packs. And we know that this brand new promo squad full of icons as well, promo icons as well, is coming. Plus whatever this champions or whatever these mastery things and swaps are. So the market is tanking, but a big name icon was linked and has basically been confirmed by the very reputable leakers. If that feels like a juxtaposition saying a reputable leaker, but the ones that tend to get it right anyway. That Johan Cruyff is on the way as an on this day icon. Ingvi did a bit of digging in the Discord and pointed out that on Friday coincides with the day where he'd scored 6 goals, I think, in a cup game for Ajax. He is coming as an on this day icon. Again, some mixed reactions to this one, Nathan, because a lot of people are not too happy that he's been downgraded compared to his base icon. However, realistically, EA almost had to make him worse looking at the market.
Yeah, I mean, his base icon, I think, still's about 4.3 million, if I'm not wrong. It's a 93 rated, and it does look amazing. But if you look at some of the leaked stats, now we know stats won't be reliable until maybe Thursday night if it comes on Friday, but he's going to be good. I mean, we've had flashback sort of players in the past where you look at the stats and you think they're not great, but the mix of the stats with the traits, and now we've got these roles plus maybe the build, their own sort of physicality. I think Cruyff will be great. We were talking about this before. Was it last year or whenever we had the Zidane one? I mean, I would take Cruyff over Zidane in game any day. I struggle with Zidane. Cruyff's quite a me type player, so I'm really excited to, if he is still 5'5", I think that's a big win. If he plays cam and striker, big win. If he's got maybe shadow striker for the cam, phenomenal. At the price point, obviously, well, that's up for debate. We can't put our finger in what we think it'll come in. I'm hoping it'll be under 2 mil. You kind of want it to be expensive that not everyone can do him, but obviously attainable as well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they do it. I think it's been fairly okay priced, some of these SBCs recently. Some of them have been stupid as well. But if they get this right, it's a must complete for me in any way.
Yeah, and why it's important to talk about the leak about Cruyff is because this kind of sums up what Black Friday is going to be. It is very much a cyclical arrangement for EA. They're going to want you to be engaged with the gameplay to get packs to do these SBCs and complete these challenges, but also, they're going to want you to be tempted to go to the store to complete a Cruyff SBC, to complete whichever players flashbacks come out as well. Again, a top Premier League player is another one that's been leaked to come as an SBC in the past couple of hours as I look on my timeline. EA is going to do everything they can to get you to the store. Again, they'll put crazy store packs in. They will have lots of upgrade SBCs. And again, one of the things that almost gets people is that they put things like last year, I think, what was it? We had the 83 by 10 was that repeatable 3 times. So again, you'll just be running through your fodder. And again, that temptation will be, I just need a little bit more to do that last 83 by 10. Let me do a provisions pack, or let me do one of those 100k packs. I'll spend 100k, it'll give me fodder. And look, if you've worked hard and got loads of coins to this point, why not? Why not have a little bit of a flutter? Because again, this will probably be the best things we see in packs, Nath, until... in terms of volume, probably until what? Team of the season? Footies?
Team of the season, yeah, but you'd imagine so. You're right, though. I mean, I'm quite a fan of leakers. I like to know what's coming up. This is one of the few times I would actually advise people to try and look at leaks. As you say, in terms of like squad management or club management, I think it could be quite huge because I think going by some of the leaks, there's 2 Premier League sort of SBCs due to be coming. I think one's a flashback and one's a Thunderstruck SBC. Both of them, I really like the look of, and I probably will try and do. But then, if you know what's coming, you can say, I'm not doing this because I know X is coming or I know Y is coming. So I think this is the type of promo where it is quite important to know what lies ahead because, these cards aren't for everybody. So I don't think, I'm not saying that every SBC is a must do, but there's plenty of things to do. And we know it's coming. So we had the debate as well. What are you doing with your packs that you're getting just now? I opened over the weekend, but since yesterday I've not opened, and I've already got 20 odd packs, and some of them are pretty decent packs. So I'm not opening because the current promo is very meh. I know if you get the top end ones, they'll be quite tasty if they get all the upgrades, but this promo at the moment doesn't, the FC Live one doesn't really do much for me. Whereas I think Thunderstrucks will. I think that'll be really good. So I'm certainly keeping hold at the moment. So that's mine, especially after seeing some of the leaks. So I think this could be a good point. You said about the packs. So I'm gonna whip out the Excel spreadsheet that I made.
Oh, here we go.
So I've not told you this one, Dan, because we've spoke about it before, and your reaction was brilliant.
Hold on. I've got to do this, Nate. Got to get this going.
So currently, if you opened every pack, so obviously some of them are repeatable. So there's a total of 83 packs that you can open at the moment, not including your generic bronze, silver, and gold ones that you can always get. They're not promos. 83 packs. That comes in at a coin value of 7,201,000 coins, 79,000 FIFA points, which in British pound. The cheapest way to do it is £555 worth of packs. That's wild. And if you think that's bad now, wait for Black Friday. The most expensive one we got now, I think, is that Hero holding out for a Hero pack, 380k or 3,000 points, and that's repeatable twice. That just shows you there's a very mid promo going on just now. The hype for Black Friday is real. I think you could probably add another 50% onto that. We'll easily top 100 packs in store plus everything else.
I mean, absolutely stellar research. I mean, look, it's frightening, isn't it? We had the joke a couple of weeks ago where I was on about 19 promo packs, but it is, and that is the kind of, again, open. It's open season. As you said, it's going to get worse. It's going to be hourly lightning rounds of limited things, and they'll be doing everything to tempt you. And look, go back to the same old thing. Here's a business. They're not forcing you to do anything, and they want to make money, so it's out there. But please do not feel you have to engage with these store packs. As I said, if you've got over a million coins or whatever, and there's a 250k pack that takes your fancy, why not go for it? Have a bit of fun. You'll make those coins back. But please don't be, reaching into your pocket during the time and thinking, I can buy a Christmas present for somebody or open a store pack on FC. Please be responsible as you can. But likewise, if you've got a bit of disposable income, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's completely wrong. I think if you are going to buy store packs, this is probably one of, again, the 2 best times of the entire year to do so, which kind of brings me on to the next thing, Nathan, because I think that this is probably the first major jump I think we're going to see in the power curve, probably until we start getting 2 Playstyle Plus players around Team of the Year. I think this will kind of be, you'll take a before and after shot of your team going into Black Friday and sort of a week or 2 after Black Friday, and you'll see a real jump.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're still seeing quite a lot of gold players around, which isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of these teams are going to get done by promo players. I think it depends if they bring the campaign best of back, and it depends how loose they are with the pack weight, because we know when there's been decent stuff in packs before, they've definitely cranked up the Scrooge in them, and they've not really let you get these better players. Top pulls, as we've said throughout, are very minimal. So I'm hoping that they don't, have a free-for-all and everybody gets every great player, but it'd be nice to see some of these, these sort of juiced up packs that people can get from rewards or whatever. You know what, if you open a store pack and if you open the ones that are, 2084 rated ones, you should be able to get a promo. If you're spending that on it, then actually there should be a good chance of getting it. So it just depends whether you're going to get, the 84 rate, because they usually put like a CAC array that's 84 rated or something in there, which pops out of my campaign packs all the time. So if they do it that is rewarding, it could be amazing, and teams could be really fun again. But they could also actually have all this hype, all these great players in packs, and you could open 100 packs and maybe see one decent card. So it really is all in the execution of how EA do that.
Yeah, it's still a lottery, but I think the positive you can point to from this promo last year was that the pack weight was better. I talked about this last week. You were getting the likes of Fakir, Emre Chan, TT, Klosterman, Kim Little. You were getting cards like that, and even some of the kind of worse icons. I think Xabi Alonso had a card. I got Casillas last year. I think Perez, Skulls. I think I saw that Thunderstruck Skulls at least a couple of times. So you did at least have a little bit of excitement. And I think it's important for EA to do that because, and it goes back to Ingvi's question, the general mood around this game is not very good. And I think if EA were to deliver a dud of a promo and another one of these, like FC Pro Live and all the promos we've just seen before, where you're just never seeing promo cards, you're getting into that territory of the remaining people that are on the fence just being like, I'm never packing promo cards. Like, I'm sorry, this was supposed to be the time you give back. I'm off. So I do think that this will be the point that they loosen the purse strings and really go all out because, and I guess it's time to answer that question. Do you think that if everything we've just described and hoped for comes true with this Black Friday and Thunderstruck promo, is it enough to save it, or is the gameplay and the state of the overall game still in such a poor place that nothing is going to bring it back?
I think it can save it. I mean, I'm lucky enough I play on PC, so my gameplay, albeit we had a very frustrating co-op session yesterday with some ridiculous, bounce backs or somebody scoring an own goal that should never really happen, not because it was an own goal, but just the mechanics behind it was just wild. But I think if you entice people with decent pulls and decent players, I'm not saying that people are going to look back and say it's the best thing ever, but it definitely makes everything a bit more palatable if you're getting the enjoyment. If you've got your 15 wins or 13 wins, whatever we're at now, and out of that you can pack something, it then goes, actually, it's worth doing this grind. Whereas if you're still, you're getting, say, an 84 rated pack and you're only pulling 84s, it probably will tip the scales the other way, and it will be a bit like, what is the point of me putting my time and raising my stress levels? Because although people say they chill playing it, no one really does. You play this game, it's very hard to stay very chill. So I think it can save it. I'm not saying it will save it, but I think if they get the balance right in what's in the packs and what the player stats are, and if they get the right players with the right roles or right play styles as well, because obviously that's still a big thing, I think this could definitely mend a few fences that have been broken by the quality control issues, by the gameplay, by the lack of menu grind and lack of packs. But again, devil's in the detail. They could go one way and it could be phenomenal. It could go the other way, and the more casual players or even the more hardcore players will be like, actually, it's not really worth my time anymore.
People need that fresh coat of paint, don't they? I think they get to the point where, like you mentioned, some people are still using gold cards that they've had for 4 or 5 weeks already. And this is kind of like, the equivalent of, them releasing a new map pack for Call of Duty or a new course on Mario Kart or something like that, because an expansion pack or whatever, because people need to see that change. They need to have that reason to jump back on the game to go, oh, I've got 3 new Thunderstruck players and I've done the Cruyff SBC and the flashback whatever card. And, the game feels new again. Otherwise, if you just, again, going back into the same modes, doing the same thing with pretty much the same players, you just get to that point. Because I think, we hear different voices on this show and in the Discord, but I think that the wider consensus is that this gameplay is not great. You very rarely hear people saying, I can't wait to pick up and play the game. People have different enjoyments, and they get, some people relish the challenges, and other people like certain mechanics and things in this game. But very few people and voices we hear, I don't want to speak directly for you, Nath, but very few people are sitting there saying, oh, do you know what? I can't wait to get home and, play a game of FIFA.
No, you're correct there. I mean, the old saying is, especially because FC is obviously football related, football fans are fickle. in real life, you could go on a losing run. You could maybe be a supposedly big team and lose 5 games in a row. And, they're in crisis, especially with 115 charges. But you could also then go and win your next 5 games and all is forgiven. People will forget that bad run. People will. And it's the same with this game. I've had the game's been out for what, 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks on sort of full release.
I think someone said it's nearly 60 days because there was talk about a loyalty pack that was going to reward you for being logged in for 60 days. So I think we're coming up to around that point.
Yeah, so it's been out for 60 days. But if you have 2 weeks of, insane content and adequate gameplay, people will forget the fact that, the start of the game was quite sluggish. We've already forgotten last year what was out at this time. You have to really go and look back. And to be honest, I've kind of forgotten the last game entirely almost. Like, I know we get some good players, but, you're here, you're in the here and now. So we are fickle, whether people want to admit it or not. Like, the majority of us are quite fickle. And if they hit the nail on the head and, if they nail this right, I'm not saying all is forgiven, but it's certainly going to be a big mending along the way.
Yeah, and look, we are desperate to talk about some positivity here. I'm excited. I'm excited by this promo as someone that probably gets more out of the menu grind and the gameplay and always has. I love this. I love trying to make some money with bronze pack method and stuff and grinding and just seeing flares. And I love all of that. So I can't wait. I'm most excited I've been in this game since launch week. And it does need that shot in the arm. I think I agree with you, Nathan. Look, if we have a couple of good weeks, people get 3 or 4 players that are going to make their team. There's some cool Evos, and we'll see what this swaps does as well and how that's executed. Hopefully there'll be like a fun cup or a mode to get some of these players as well. Then yeah, you're right. People will be able to overlook it. I think it's, we've been talking for the last few weeks. The problem has been that the pack weight's been poor. The menu content has been poor. Evos have been quite poor. They've picked up a little bit and the gameplay is not great. And you throw all of those things together and that's created this really negative ecosystem where there's not been that release valve for people to be like, oh, well, the gameplay's bad, but at least, I've been loving the menu grind, or, oh, the menu grind's a bit weak, but I'm loving playing this friendly cup mode or something like that. So we need something that's universal or as close to universal as you're going to get in this community. Positive. But look, so much for Black Friday to get into. The guys will record the main show on Friday night. Of course, it's out on Friday night for patrons. And for those of you who don't subscribe, it will come out on Saturday. Again, apologies for no shorts. John has been really, really busy at work this week. And again, me and Nathan have been busy with our working commitments as well. So we've not been able to get the shorts out to you. Probably won't for the rest of the week. But hopefully, we're providing a bumper show for everybody today to kind of make up for it. And on that note as well, Nathan, because we haven't had those shorts, we really need to have a little look at some of the content from the past few days in Ultimate Team. Let's start, overall, a few SBC players we've had out. We've had Anderson Talisca, we've had Thomas Lamar, we've had Ramon Hendricks, and we've had Xabi Alonso. Of course, within that Lamar as well, you've also had a Clement Longley that you unlock as part of that SBC. Now, have you done any of these players? Have you been excited by any of them?
I was excited by the leak of Xabi Alonso. I thought he was exactly what my team needed. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest, with the card itself. I didn't think it was a particularly enticing card. He doesn't have CDM roll ++. He doesn't have much else apart from he's got excellent passing. So I think it was not 430k or something. I just thought that was a bit of a mess for me.
Yeah, he's 460 at the moment.
Yeah, so I think that's a bit off the mark in my own opinion. I have done the Lamar SBC after playing in my rat formation with you yesterday. You'd kind of advised me that I had 2 sort of bricks playing in my centre mid and I needed someone a little bit more sort of smooth. So I thought Lamar's like a past favourite for myself. Did him, and actually he's very solid. I mean, I think he's going to probably end up being replaced next week, hopefully, if pack weight and all that's right. But for 60k, it's a player that could probably fit Evos coming up. He's always fairly OP. He's not like the most OP, but he's always fairly good in the game. So I've done that. And the icon pick as well. It's the first time I've really done a gamble since maybe week 2. So I did do the icon pack as well. So how about yourself, Dan? Have you done any, or are you kind of still debating, or can I force you into doing one?
So you can't goad me into doing the icon gamble because, like you, so the 90+ max rated icon SBC came out over the weekend. I did it. I was sitting on, so my SBC storage was getting to the point of overflowing. So I did it. It's the first gamble I've done for a long time, and I ended up with Julie Foudy. the new American centre midfield icon, who is okay. I think 2-3 weeks ago I would have loved it. Now I think she's worth 200k. And I think me and you used her in the team, and she was just a bit. I probably wasn't using her in the best position as a holding CDM, but was a little bit anonymous for me. But I don't regret doing it. The packs you got back were half decent, and you do have to have that gamble times time, because it's realistically the only way you're gonna get a Bale or a Hullet is by getting really, really lucky. So I always kind of say to people, it's worth doing them once in a while. It's when you kind of like do every one of them, I think it becomes a little bit pointless. But again, Lamar, I think, is a really great utility player that's never bad to have in your team. I quite like Talisca. I think, there are lots of great players in that Saudi league. And I mean, the stats are fantastic. 87 pace, 87 shooting, 87 dribbling, 81 physicality, with a roll ++ at cam as well. So I like it. 200k, maybe a bit on the expensive side, but given the amount of fodder we're going to be coming into, I don't think that's too bad one to maybe pour some of your dupes into. That's 11 days left on that. Alonso, completely agree with you. Just overpriced and just not good enough, especially because he's got no roll pluses at CDM. You have to play him at CM, which is a bit peculiar. And Hendricks, I like. It's a live card. I don't know if you remember last year in FC Pro Live, they released the Vanden Boomen was actually an SBC, and the guy that had Vanden Boomen went on to win the whole thing. So, and this card for, I think he's 65k at the moment, already starts as 86 rated with a roll ++, 4-star weak foot, Dutch, plays in the Bundesliga, generally very solid card. I think the one flaw, and we were talking about this before we went on air, is that people are so switched off and disinterested from the FC Pro Live scene at the moment that I can't even get myself excited enough to research these cards. Which is a shame, because I think a lot of people are making decent coins. If you're actually following these cards live, there were lots of them that kind of went up and down, but I see these cards packed so rarely that I've not gone into it. But again, I think I will probably end up completing this card just as a bit of insurance if I ever go Bundesliga. It's an 84 and 85 rated team.
Yeah, I think because you never know what's around the corner. Some people like the Harry Kane. I think Musiala is still there at the moment. So this, and if you take Daniel Mallon from the season pass, season rewards as well. So there's definitely reasons to do it. It's probably quite good to do some of these cheaper ones that allow you that flexibility, like you say. So he's probably one that might get done over the weekend out of dupes, because 84, 85 probably isn't going to put much of a dent into Cruyff fodder. It's probably one I'll leave to the last minute, in all honesty, and I'll require you and Shaq to say, have you done that yet? Because I think looking at some of the leaks, my priorities are going to be Cruyff and at least one other SBC that is a must-do for me. But again, it's not a bad card, and if he gets the upgrades, it could be a very handy card sort of going forward.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about this card is that his pro, Manny Bashir, actually plays before this card expires. So you will actually get the chance to see whether this card is upgraded before you even do it. So again, if you may be on a bit on the fence, just wait. I think he plays next Monday. Might stand to be corrected and have to dig out the "you're wrong" or the "what's wrong" soundboard. But yeah, as far as I understand, this pro actually plays before this expires. So good chance to maybe wait and see on that one. But EA are very fond of just randomly dropping in like a cup, a nationality cup or a league cup. And it's always just good to have some of these cheap promo players in your squad to very quickly build a team around. And this will be a very solid Bundesliga centre-back for doing just that. So again, I would say do it if you do have that little bit of spare fodder. Anything else on the content front that you wanted to bring up?
No, not really. There's been, it sounds like there's been tons and tons to do. There hasn't really, but at the same time, I'm hoping it's the calm before the storm. We've said already how excited we are for Black Friday and Thunderstruck as well. So it's been solid. I think, Xabi Alonso's been overpriced, but Anderson Talisca isn't wildly overpriced. It's expensive without being overpriced. I think Lamar and Langley have been really good. And to be fair, the Icon pack wasn't really overpriced either, I wouldn't have said. Again, it was a bit costly without being, can't touch that because it's too much. So hopefully it sets the tone for a decent promo to come where they've kind of just about there or thereabouts kind of got the pricing right. So if they carry that on, then it bodes for good things going forward.
Yeah, more importantly as well, Nate, have you got anybody for?
I've got a few new ones since we last talked. I've said I've got Lamar, and I've quick sold and re-evoed Rashford. well, evoing him. He's up to 86 at the moment. Got the Van de Ven. But I think my player in review very quickly is going to be the player I got out of the Icon pack. So I did it. I got a mini win. I got a 90 rated Iker Casillas. So it's an Icon goalie, which is always really nice for the links throughout. He's just like Casillas from last year. He's crazy good. Kicking's better than my Tim Howard that I had. The only thing is the timing with Howard getting upgraded in the next few days, which is going to be, it's going to give me a decision to make. But it's always nice to have that option if you're wanting to run more of a hybridy type squad. So Casillas, I think he was about, well, he was about $500,000 when I packed him. He's gone down to about 300 odd K now, I think. Still very, very good. It's very nice to have that link, and he's always been, I say always, I think he was only in last year, but last year's card was excellent, and this one is exactly the same.
Yeah, I used the Thunderstruck last year. Fantastic card. It was my goalkeeper for like 6 months. Someone was a fan of that Casillas card. The card I'm going to review, I mentioned, I think, in last week's show, I packed Moussa Diaby's sprint start. I can't even remember what they call it. Tracksters. What do they call that promo? Oh, memorable promo that was. I packed the card. I mean, it's only worth about 100,000 coins, and there's a good reason for that. He's very limited. I think it's pretty much an extension of the gold card. Very, very quick, quite agile, but weak. The shooting isn't great. The passing and crossing's not ideal, but he is good to come on off the bench and cause a bit of havoc late in games when you've got that slightly tired defense. I think if you're someone that does play a kind of more what I like to call a coiled game system where you are quite patient and sit back and then burst out, I think this player is great for those sort of quick counters and things like that. But if you're someone with a more methodical build up, I think those limitations with the shooting and the passing do come to bear. I mean, he's got no shooting play styles. He's got no passing play styles. So you're very much relying on being good with your kind of left stick dribbling and pulling off some skill moves. But again, he's not even got sort of trickster on there. So very much, I think, the definition of an impact sub. As I said, I think he's 100K, and I think that's just kind of sums up the price for me.
Yeah, no, we used him a couple of times yesterday, and kind of echo that. He's all right, but you wouldn't recommend really going out and spending 100K on him because it's much better sort of use of your coins for it from that. Although he does tie in with Anderson Talisca now, doesn't he? So if you want
he does,
he would give you a soft link.
Yeah, he does. But if I was to bring, if I'm still looking at it, I'd still rather go to Adama Traore. I think if you unlock that Traore card, I think it's superior to that Diaby card in pretty much every respect. So anyway, those are our players in review. Again, a big thank you to everybody who has listened in both live to the show. But again, that's a perk from joining the Discord, which you get to free. Thank you so much as well to those people leaving comments on YouTube, on Spotify, leaving those 5-star reviews. Again, you are all legends to us. And in particular, those people who subscribe to Patreon. Again, use the BFFIR24 Black Friday FUT in review 24 code for 20% off your first month or first year. Again, it's all so appreciated. I talk about it every week in a jokey manner, but I'm dead serious about it. We every time that donation thing comes in, and a new subscriber pops into the Discord, it helps keep us going. I have a tough day at work. I'm like, do I have to, maybe I don't want to do the podcast. I'm like, well, there are people that really appreciate it. And so I kind of do it for you guys. Not that I'm martyring myself out here for sitting talking FC with you, Nath, which I would just do anyway off stream. But you know what I mean. It all is very nice. Again, apologies for the lack of shorts this week. Business will resume. It's a busy time of year for John, and bless him, he does, 80% of the work around here. So there's only so much we can flog him. He'll be back on with the main show on Friday. And again, we'll have so much content to get to on that. Otherwise, Nate, anything for you to add before we go?
No, just, it's quite refreshing and quite nice being a little bit more excited. Quite enjoyed doing this, but it's nice to have things to look forward to. And just one last little comment, Dan, I'm sure you'll agree, but Shaq, be better. Just be better. Just be better. Or, go spend, what was it, £600? £600, yeah, 555. Come on, don't get too carried away now.
What we need is a really rich listener or viewer to be able to volunteer to open all those stores. Someone that's got like 5 million quid in the bank to be like, you know what, I will do that for you guys. I think that'd be an awesome stream.
or send each host 79,000 points. If you've got someone with 5 million, then 79,000 points for all of us hosts and co-hosts would be quite nice.
Yeah, Mr. Musk, Richard Branson, whoever's listening to us out there, we'll do it for you. And we'll take the time out. If you're going to donate us, thousands of FIFA points and or pounds or whatever currency you prefer, Bitcoin, we'll take whatever. We are very flexible here on FUT in Review. You can deliver it to our doorstep in a brown paper sack or in a bag with swag written on it.
We'll do it for science.
Exactly. Just for science. And if we just so happen to pack an R9, or an Mbappe, we'll use them with a heavy heart.
And we'll change our team name for you. There we go. Our club name will be named after you.
Indeed. Yeah, well, I will happily be FC Musk in exchange for. I've said on the show I can be very easily bought, people. Very easily bought. Sponsors, you know where to get in touch with us. Anyway, we are rabbiting on. We've both got food to get to, and we've got to obey. We've got to obey our tummies on this one. That concludes today's show. Good luck. Enjoy Black Friday and Thunderstruck and whatever EA throw at us. Of course, we will always be here in FUT in Review, both in the Discord at all hours of the day and, of course, with this regular podcast and vodcast. Thank you, as always. One last thing to do, Nath.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.